like you, but their energy betrays them. You've met them. Maybe you didn't know it at the time. Maybe you still don't want to believe it. But somewhere in the silence between their smiles and your instincts, something didn't align. And that was no accident. Because while the world teaches us to listen to people's words, Carl Jung whispered a deeper truth. The unconscious never lies. And if you've been paying attention, you already felt it. In their laughter that didn't quite reach the eyes. In their applause that came just a moment too late. In the way their energy stiffened the second you began to rise. This isn't about paranoia, it's about perception. A perception too many people are taught to silence. But you've felt it. The shift in the room, the micro-expression, the compliment laced with quiet poison. The celebration that felt more like a funeral. They were there, next to you, but not for you. And Jung knew why. Jung understood that what we reject in ourselves never disappears. It waits. It waits for moments of insecurity, of envy, of ego, and leaks out in strange behavior. The ones who seem calm may be suppressing storms you'll never see directly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung wrote, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Those who haven't confronted their shadows project them onto you. Their unconscious recognizes in you what they've buried within themselves. You see, the people who secretly resent you don't always know they do, because the most dangerous hatred isn't conscious, it's hidden. It wears the mask of a friend, a family member, a lover, but it carries the frequency of resistance, of internal war projected outward, of a soul who cannot stand your light because it exposes the shadow they refuse to face in themselves. And the more you grow, the more it eats them alive. Because your evolution reminds them of their stagnation. Your joy reminds them of their numbness. Your discipline threatens their excuses. It's in these moments that your awareness sharpens. Not through the noise of confrontation, but through the clarity of quiet realization. So they do what the unconscious always does when it's afraid. It sabotages, not with knives, but with smiles. Not with insults, but with silence. Not with battles, but with absence. They ghost your wins. They downplay your transformation. They change the subject when you speak from your soul. Jung understood this mechanism. Projection is one of the commonest psychic phenomena. Everything that is unconscious in ourselves we discover in our neighbor. In their presence, you become the screen for their projections, the carrier of qualities they cannot own. But here's the truth you weren't taught. Energy never lies. Words are clumsy. Actions can be faked. But the nervous system, the eyes, the breath, those betray the truth every time. Part 2, 4,948 characters. Voiceover ready, clean paragraph breaks. Our nervous system was designed to detect the truth long before logic catches up. That subtle shiver, the tightness in your chest, the blink you almost missed, it's all data. It's the language of survival and soul. You know who doesn't celebrate you. You've felt the pause in their voice, the way they try to one-up your story, the subtle withdrawal from your excitement. They don't cheer for you because on some level they believe your success makes them smaller. But it doesn't. And deep down, they know that. That's why it hurts them more. Because you are proof that healing is possible, that reinvention is real, that trauma doesn't get the final say. It's in these moments that you're not just growing, you're activating something ancient, And that scares people who've never met themselves honestly. But instead of rising with you, they turn your glow into a mirror and hate the reflection. We're taught to prioritize appearance over authenticity, but behind the politeness, some smiles are loaded with bitterness. You won't hear it in their words, but your spirit knows it in their stillness. Jung warned us, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. But that kind of self-inquiry is painful. And most people would rather destroy the mirror than study their own image. Palatable to people who've never digested their own pain. Your vision will become clear, Jung taught, only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Those who haven't looked inside cannot truly see you. They see only projections, expectations, and reflections of their own unmet needs. This is your turning point. Because the moment you stop giving energy to those who pretend, you start attracting those who don't. Those who smile with their soul, those who clap when you rise and mean it. Those who don't compete, compare, or control, but walk beside you as mirrors of possibility. These are the rare ones, guard them. But first, become one of them, and you'll never be alone again. As Jung understood, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And in becoming who you truly are, you create the energetic signature that calls forth your true community. Let go of the ones who pretend. You are not meant to be tolerated. You are meant to be honored. And if that scares them, let them watch you from the distance they created. Because your soul remembers what your heart tried to forget. Energy doesn't lie, and truth always reveals itself when you finally stop explaining yourself to the wrong audience. The collective unconscious that Jung discovered holds the imprint of all human experience. It knows the difference between authentic connection and its counterfeit. It can feel the resonance of truth and the dissonance of deception. When you attune to this deeper wisdom, you become impervious to manipulation. Not because you've built walls, but because you've built awareness. What Jung called individuation, or calm, becoming your whole integrated self, naturally repels those who fear their own wholeness. As you shed the personas you adopted to please others, as you reclaim the parts you've disowned, as you embrace both your light and shadow, you create an energetic field that no mask can penetrate. Know all the theories, master all the techniques, Jung advised. But as you touch a human soul, be just another human soul. This is the paradox that frightens the pretenders. To truly connect, one must be willing to be seen. To be truly powerful, one must be willing to be vulnerable. To be truly wise, one must admit how little they know. These contradictions are the doorways to authenticity that many refuse to walk through. Those who resent your authenticity are still wrestling with their own fragmentation. Their divided self cannot tolerate your wholeness. Their inner conflict cannot comprehend your peace. Their self-rejection cannot accept your self-embrace. This is why their energy feels so jarring to your system. The frequency of truth cannot harmonize with the frequency of deception. Oil and water, light and shadow, authenticity and pretense. These energies cannot coexist without creating friction. And in that friction lies your growth. For every false friend who falls away, you create space for true connection. For every inauthentic relationship that dissolves, you open yourself to authentic belonging. Trust your body's wisdom. Honor your soul's discernment. Follow the quiet knowing that has always guided you home. Because in the end, those who pretend will always be revealed by the truth they cannot hide. Their energy. And your liberation begins the moment you believe it.